Welcome to Panther Potpourri, the podcast where we're supposed to talk Panthers hockey, but sometimes we don't. Presented by Florida Hockey Now. Here are your hosts, Jacob Langsam, Alex Lopez, and TJ Peterson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Panther Potpourri, a Florida Hockey Now podcast. I am your host, Jacob Langsam. Here with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Alex Lopez and TJ Peterson. And folks, keep your eye on the Toronto-Ottawa series as the Panthers now sit and wait to find out who their round 2 opponent will be. Panthers take game 5 by a score of 6-3 to win the series in. Alex, let me hear it.
Cats and 5, bitches.
It was always Cats and 5.
Imagine completely remaking your team in the offseason, jettisoning your longtime captain, only to lose in 5 in the first round.
Again.
To the same team. You're a little brother now.
I think we can formally declare the death of the Tampa Bay dynasty.
Did you guys see the rumors today? Frank
Yes.
Saravalli?
Yes, we did. I don't remember if I said this on an episode or after we stopped recording, or even maybe I was just talking to TJ. But I did ask at the beginning of the playoffs, if the Panthers beat Tampa in round 1, is Cooper's job on the line?
Well, his job's technically not on the line. He may just leave because he wants to work for an owner that he is very close with. Either way, I'll take it that your in-state rival is losing a top 5 coach in the NHL as much of a whiny bitch as he is.
Well, yeah, and that's another.
I don't
point
think we
in
should
his favor.
speculate too much on John Cooper's future in Tampa.
Let's just bury them. Let's just bury everything else about them.
Yeah, nothing has been said about that. There's really not much point from our perspective of spending too much time on that. I instead think we should jump right into Alex's favorite part of any given postseason series, provided that the Panthers win it. Because prior to this series, 18 of the 24 ESPN analysts predicted the Lightning to win this series. Many of them were predicting close series, but let's do our annual tradition, our annual postseason tradition of letting those people know of where they landed here. Alex, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Blake Bolden, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
John Buccigross, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
Ryan Callahan, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
I apologize for the botched pronunciation that's about to happen. Sachin Shandon, Lightning in 5.
Wrong.
Megan
I think that was pretty good,
Chayka,
actually.
Lightning in 6.
Wrong.
Linda Cohn, Lightning in 6.
You're a Panthers fan. How dare you? Wrong.
Rachel Dory, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
Ray Ferraro, Lightning in 6.
Wrong.
Emily Kaplan, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
Tim Cavanaugh, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
Peter Lawrence Riddell, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
Vince Massey, Lightning in 6.
Wrong.
Sean McDonough, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
Mark Messier, Lightning in 7.
You always pick against the Panthers. Wrong, bitch.
Mike Monaco, Lightning in 6. God, calling
Wrong.
Mark Messier a bitch sure is a power move. Kristen Shilton, Lightning in 7.
Wrong.
Bob Wischusen, Lightning in 7.
Wrong. That one hurts.
Greg Wyshynski, Lightning in 7.
You always pick against the Panthers too. Wrong.
There's something really cathartic about this round of the wrong game in particular, because 18 of 24 of you picked the Lightning?
Hey, I didn't hear Ardo Cal on that list.
Yeah, friend of the show, Ardo Cal, of course, predicting the Panthers in 6. Tied
Almost right.
with Sean Allen for the closest prediction. And Victoria Matiash.
So nobody picked Cats in 5 except
Nobody
for...
had Cats in 5. Only one person had Lightning in 5.
This
To
guy
be
did.
fair. Well, that's true. I just love, like, so much of the picking against the Panthers was based on observing a team that basically coasted through the last 5 weeks of the season. Like,
Yeah.
how did you not know this was going to happen?
We said Panthers in 5 because it's always Cats in 5. This is one of those situations where people overestimated Lightning and underestimated the Panthers. and now they were really wrong. And you knew the Panthers were going to be better. Like they were resting, they were preparing, and you fucked up, bro. You fucked up.
By the way, Alex, I do want to shout out that in my Twitter mentions right now, I've got a few notifications. Excited for the roll call segment of tonight's episode.
I love it that this is a thing. Just
So let's now that all that is taken care of, let's jump into talking more about Game 5 specifically. Another really strong game by the third line, who I think ended up with 3 of the 5 non-empty net goals, if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, like just a really strong game by the Panthers in general. The XG was just completely dominated by the Panthers for what felt like most of that game, at least in the first period, for sure.
The Lightning got some good chances later, but early on should have been look, they got a bounce. That wasn't really like a great offensive play. They just got a fortunate deflection. Panthers worked really hard to tie the game. Panthers went up 2-1. Credit where credit's due. Great play by Nick Paul, but it was kind of a fluky miracle shot that, if he tried to do that 10 times, how many times does he put it in the top corner? 1, 2?
Right.
It's certainly not more than 2.
And correct
But
me if I'm
credit
wrong,
to
but
him.
that puck also looked like it got deflected to me. It didn't
Could have
look like
been.
it went straight in.
I'd have no idea.
Braden Point, I believe, was standing in front of the net on that one. I don't remember who had him tied up. I don't know if I don't remember if it went off Braden Point or if it just hit off something, but it didn't look to me like it went straight in. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if that gets rescored after the fact, but
But that wasn't really like the most crisp of offensive plays breaking down the Panthers defense. Every time the Panthers took a lead, it was well deserved. I mean, there were a number of like glorious chances. There was that power
Yeah.
play where
Vashti came up
had
huge.
Vasi came up
Yeah,
more than
oh, yeah.
huge. And I was disappointed in Reinhart for shooting glove side when the penalty kill had been out there for almost a full minute and a half. In fact, the guys on the point were getting so little attention from the Tampa power play. I thought it was still the first period. It's the short change. Thus, get some new guys out there and have them skate at the tired defenders. I mean, you do risk the penalty kill getting a little bit more aggressive and not being able to get those guys out there, but I would have looked into doing that. And Reinhardt, don't shoot glove when the penalty killers are desperate for Vasi to hold on to it with his glove.
Yeah, that was probably not the best play, but I'm not gonna gripe about it. Like there's no negatives to say when you just knocked out a top 5 team in the NHL in
Yeah.
5 on their home ice. Like I would definitely I will give a little bit of credit to Tampa that this was a much closer 5-game series than last year's. Like last
oh
year,
yeah.
like basically
Last year it was a gentleman's sweep. This year it really there was concern for which direction the series could go.
Yeah, and it was like, well, there was concern going in, like, but the Panthers felt like a heavy favorite going into it. This year, it really felt like a 50-50 series. And outside of fluky game 1 and fluky game 3,
Yeah.
it felt like a very fluky series. It felt like a very close series. Like, I hate to quote a certain coach, but this didn't feel like a sweep or a 5-game series. It felt like a war between 2 excellent teams, and one of them had to win. And guess what? It was the defending Stanley Cup champs.
Due to this game, I think it will get remembered as a little bit more decisive than it actually was. And of course, due to the fact that it was 5 games. It will, for me, come down to game 2 primarily, that Braden Point and a few of his Lightning teammates, but we would be burying the lead if we didn't start with Braden Point. Missed chance after chance after chance after chance. It wasn't like this game where the Panthers definitively had more scoring chances, should have won the game, did win the game. Game 2, they took one that they probably shouldn't have, and you just can't afford to give a team this good a game that they probably don't deserve. Like, you're just not coming back from
Yeah.
that.
And Nikita Kucherov too, I think held goalless in
Again.
this series.
Again, yeah.
Again for the second year in a row. Man, our top end talent is clearly better than yours, and you don't have the depth to outplay us in the bottom.
You don't have the facilities for that, big man.
Yeah, Panthers are just a better team. There's no shame in saying that if you're a Lightning fan. Like, you were doing a lot of crying about officiating the whole series. At this point, it's just time to admit, like, the Panthers were better than you. You're really good. Like, look, I don't know what's going to happen in round two, whether it's Toronto or Ottawa. Panthers could lose in the second round. But I'm fairly comfortable saying this was the best team we're going to play in the East, assuming, like,
Yeah.
regardless of what happens the rest of the way.
I do still agree with that. Like, I don't want to sleep on Carolina too hard. But I mean, I've been saying all series that this is a conference final that just couldn't happen, and arguably a Stanley Cup final that could never be. Like, Tampa is still one of the best teams. Like, don't let Cats in five for the second year in a row distract you from the fact that this Tampa team is still really good. The Panthers
Yeah.
just know how to stop them.
I would love to have seen what would happen if they played against a different team, just so we'd have that litmus test to know for sure.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that this was like literally the first round. At least, even if they played Ottawa or Montreal, if they just stomped them, we'd be able to say definitively, okay, what the Panthers did by beating this team in five was very impressive, even if it wasn't four shellackings and one game they barely lost. That wasn't at all the case. There was really one shellacking in the series, and that was game three.
Yeah.
This was a decisive victory, but it wasn't quite as decisive as game three was. But look, that's splitting hairs. Ultimately, Panthers deserve to win game one. Panthers deserve to win game four. Panthers deserve to win game five. So,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? They're the more deserving team, and it's the NHL. We've known for what? I've been watching hockey very consistently for 15 years and a little bit here and there before that. I know how it works. Like, you got to get a little bit lucky to win in the playoffs.
Right.
Tampa didn't get lucky. That's just the way it goes.
So I want to do a quick news segment. And TJ, I know I floated this to you, Alex. This is going to be sprung on you, so I hope you can think on your feet a little bit.
Let's do it.
But I want to do a 3 stars of the series because I think there are some things that we need to talk about that this will bring to light. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make my case for my first star of the series first, and that's gonna go to Mr. Brad Marchand himself. God damn, dude.
It's really funny because, like, there were times in this series where, like, this guy was just fumbling pucks, and then there were times that this dude was just eating. And especially tonight, like, he should have had another assist, like Bennett hitting the crossbar on a wide open net. Brutal.
At 5-on-5, the top scorers for the Panthers this series: Anton Lundell, 2 goals, 5 points. Etu, 1 goal, 5 points. Marchand, 0 goals, 4 points. Those are your top
Who set
three
up like
scorers.
all those goals?
Right,
Who set
those
up
are
all
your
those
top
goals?
3 scorers in the series at 5-on-5 for the Florida Panthers. And I highly doubt Lundell and Etu are up there if they don't have Brad Marchand or Sam Reinhart on their other wing.
Yep.
That dude was instrumental to getting our depth scoring to be such a difference maker in this series. It's remarkable that he didn't get a goal.
It's a very collective effort, so it's hard to give one guy the first star, like, and feel really good about it. Like, there's a number of guys that
I don't think it's that hard.
could
I feel
say-
real good about giving it to Marchand.
I mean, he didn't really have a big impact on the first couple of games, the way I see it. I mean, game 4 and 5, he was instrumental. There's no doubt about it. And
Yeah.
that's ultimately where they put the skate to the throat of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I think, just to be interesting, I'm going to go with Tkachuk because he,
Completely fair answer.
entered the series with the, Blood and Thunder, scoring the 2 goals in game 1.
Yeah.
Letting the Lightning know who was, Big Brother. And he had a good offensive series. I mean, he didn't look 100%. He may not be 100% in this playoffs at all, but that was enough. He was good enough to make a big impact.
I got one for you. Seth Jones.
I was going to point him out as I was going to give him probably my second star. Yeah.
I was too.
GWC in a pivotal game 4. Um, and was honestly excellent throughout the series. I can't think of one like glaring gaffe that he had that ended up in the back of the Panthers net.
Yeah.
That trade just looks better and better. Yeah, it looks better and
It
better.
was a hefty price, so they're getting their money's worth so far.
We- Jesus, we're 4 wins away from not having a first round pick until 2028.
Oh no. Anyway,
Fuck them picks.
Fuck them picks.
right. I'm having way more fun with deep playoff runs and a Stanley Cup parade than I ever had with draft prep.
Yeah. EliteProspects.com has never gotten so few clicks from this podcast.
Right. The last 3 years have been way more fun. Like I would rather be doing the post games for a Stanley Cup final in June than I would be. Yeah, well, who would I like to see them take with the 17th overall pick? So yeah, TJ and I both have Seth Jones as second star. Obviously
so.
for the same reasons.
I mean, I have Marchand because I was going between the two of them.
So TJ, your lineup then is Kachuk, Jones, and Marchand.
Well, we were talking about this. I wouldn't put Jones in so that I could give
Okay,
fair
yeah.
respect
Yeah.
to Jake Gensel.
Yeah,
Because
who would
he
be
was
my third star of
definitively
the series.
definitively the best Lightning player on offense. If you want to give it to Vazzy, who
No,
even in
fuck
this
Vasi.
game was
Vasi
even in
washed
this game was
Tampa
good.
8th.
They didn't finish 8th, Jake. They in fact finished ahead of the Panthers.
Alex, because we kind of stole your thunder. Who is your second star? Because you put Seth Jones number 1.
You know what? I'll give some props to Carter Verhaeghe.
Okay.
Had a goal tonight, played genuinely pretty well throughout the series. Had the empty netter in game 4. I'm gonna go off the board a bit and give it to Carter Verhaeghe because again, just like this is a guy who had a really, really rough regular season.
Yeah.
And is he back to full playoff Carter Verhaeghe? Absolutely not. But this was a guy who played extremely well. And yeah, he definitely gets want to give him a shout out. So he's probably not the second star, but I'm going a little off the board with my picks.
Carter
was a
led
huge goal.
all. He also led all Panthers forwards in Corsi for percentage in this series at 5-on-5.
It was a huge goal to open the scoring. And I
Yeah.
mean, we knew that they were going to get a number of chances, but I don't know. Maybe it does something to your confidence if Vasi just keeps racking up good save after good save. And he had a number of them in this game. Like the 6 goals is not an indication of how well Vasi played in this game. Not like game 1 at all. Panthers were just rampant.
TJ and I are both putting Jake Gensel as third star. Gensel was the only player on Tampa that I was afraid of going into Game 5, and he did make them pay once. He had a second power play goal of the series. I believe he led the Lightning with 3 goals in the series. The only player on Tampa with 3 goals in the series. For reference,
Did
the
anybody else
Panthers
even
had
have
3
2?
player. Yes.
Who?
Braden Point had 2, and Nick Paul had 2.
So what you're saying is Nate Schmidt was tied for the league with all Lightning players.
Yes, Nate Schmidt scored as many goals as leading Tampa Bay goal scorer Jake Gensel in this series.
Speaking of which, third star, Nate Schmidt. Negatives, Aaron Ekblad still has to miss game 1 of the next round.
Why are you calling that a negative?
That's the joke.
Like, dude, I think that this playoff series actually lost Aaron Ekblad a lot of money.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's that much controversial to say about that.
And then,
Yeah.
should have been kicked out of game 4 and then had the game tying goal.
So Ekblad played 2 games. Panthers won 1, lost 1. But, he also, granted, he did score a very important and timely goal in one of them. But then he got himself suspended again.
Yeah.
The Panthers are very clearly showing that they don't need Ekblad to win in the playoffs. And I love Aaron Ekblad, and I have come to his defense a lot over the years, but he's lost a lot of market value in the last 10 days.
The next time we have a big game against Tampa is, I'm just saying, I won't miss interacting with that audience on Twitter. Like, they're just so
I will.
annoying.
I had fun with them.
Oh, we had fun with them, and we'll continue to have fun with whoever we play in the next round.
I think we took them out of their misery tonight, honestly.
Yeah. I do want to give an honorable mention, fourth star, to the Panthers penalty kill as a whole team unit.
I'll allow it just because I'm shocked at the audacity.
I think they went 16 for 18 in the series
Yeah.
against one of the best power plays in the NHL.
They gave up a power play goal tonight, but like
Right.
they gave up 2 power play goals the whole series. Like fantastic work.
Both of them to Jake Gensel. But like that, I think that has to be probably the main reason that this series ended in 5 games, was that the Panthers were so effective at neutralizing the Tampa power play. I think that's your huge difference between a Panthers domination and a much closer series, especially with all the penalties that the Panthers took this series, because 18 penalties in 5 games, including more than one 5-minute major. That's a lot of time on the PK, but they were so up to it.
You're not going to have as good of a time against Toronto's 5 forward power play, or it's the Kachuk Bowl.
Or it's the Kachuk Bowl, which is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, Kachuk Bowl would be so much fun. I'm basically putting my ass on the line with how much shit I've talked about the Senators and their fans. Definitely want that series to go 7. Give Chucky some time to heal the groin.
Yeah.
Ekblad time to heal, even though he's had a whole bunch of time off, but I'm sure he's picked up an injury already. This team's already shown they can turn the switch on, so I'm not too worried about having 3 or 4 days off and getting some rest.
I mean, is there much more to say? Do we want to put any more dirt on the coffin here?
I'm just so done with that fan base. Just so done with them.
You fortunately can be done with them until October.
Damn right.
That is true.
Atu had 4 points tonight, man. A goal and 3 assists.
He did. He ate.
He was so good. He was so good all series, but like, man, he was
17.
great tonight.
No, wait, that's not him. He's 27.
He's 27. 17 is Evan Rodriguez, TJ. How could you?
My guy, who had another good game. Anything we want to talk about with the rest of the playoffs? Hey, look, St. Louis just scored again on Connor Hellebuck, who's imploding.
I am so frustrated that Edmonton's going to get out of the first round just because.
Yeah, me too. I really am.
And it's not any negative thoughts about Edmonton. Like a rematch with them in the Cup final would be fun as hell. But like LA just let them off the mat in games 3 and 4, and
Yep.
And now like this thing's over in 6.
By the way, our buddy Matt Porter, like, I know we know this, but Matt Porter also just tweeted, just watched Brad Marchand go through a winning handshake line as a Florida Panther. Very simple observation, but like, that's a worthwhile observation to make, because that's a weird sentence.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you, Matt Porter, because it's odd. There's no doubt about it.
Rooting for Brad Marchand during playoff hockey certainly took a little bit of getting used to, but boy, am I all in on that guy as a Panther.
Oh, yeah, he fucking rocks. So we'll see about Connor Hellebuck recovering from what has been a nightmare to this series. The rest of the NHL, Montreal's dead. Ottawa's extended it to a game 6. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Carolina beat New Jersey, not surprising.
Toronto certainly not beating their allegations. Connor Hellebuck not beating their allegations. The Kings not beating their allegations. The NHL is what we thought it was.
Tampa not beating the Panthers in 5 allegations.
New Jersey not beating their allegations.
Let's talk about Montreal for a bit. I'll get my hot take out there now. They're not going to make the playoffs next year, and they won't be close.
They have a big offseason if they want to make the playoffs.
I am going.
That top line is
very
great.
Strongly disagree with that. With an
really
asterisk,
great.
Because they've got some moves that they need to make this offseason, but they've got a core that can definitely take them into the playoffs.
They need secondary scoring badly, though.
They need secondary scoring. They need some depth defense, but like, man, Nick Suzuki, Ivan Demidov, Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson, like, they've got a team. They've got a core.
So does Ottawa. Ottawa's a team. I'm not talking about this year's Ottawa. I'm talking about the Ottawa that Pierre Dorian said we're a team about.
Patrick Laine.
Look, even Sam Montembeault has been pretty good for them.
Yes.
They get a couple more stalwart defensemen and some strong depth players, and like, we're probably looking at Sam Montembeault as a good goalie, as a good NHL goalie. So I'm going to disagree with you pretty strongly, Alex, but with an asterisk that they've got some work to do this offseason, but they can certainly build a pretty interesting and fun team for next year.
Well, they're not competing with the Panthers though, regardless.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
see that
no,
happening.
no. I'm not saying that they're going to win a round, but they'll be a wild card race. Look, frankly, I don't think the top three changes. The order might, but the teams probably won't. So we'll have a series preview coming up. We've got a pretty fun guest lined up. It is someone who has been on the show before. We will wait to announce who that guest will be until we know what the series actually is. And so we'll tweet out who that guest will be because it is someone we've had on before. It's someone who always provides some very fun and smart and interesting and engaging content when he comes on with us. So really looking forward to that. And we'll see you for our second round preview to talk about how the Panthers will fare against either Toronto or Ottawa. But regardless, I'm making my prediction: Panthers in 5.
It's always Cats in 5 unless it's Ottawa, then it's Cats in 4 because, I just have to do it for the brand.
Rate us 5 stars at Amaranth Bank Arena North, formerly known as Amelie Arena.
Or rate us 5 stars at that French restaurant.
True. The speaking of Amaranth Bank Arena North, very audible red during the anthem. Very audible Bobby chant during a couple of very impressive strings of saves. Like, that building had to be 20% Panthers fans at least.
For sure. There was definitely a lot of Cats fans there. Audible Bobby chants, a lot of waving after the empty netter. It was nice. It's nice to see the fan base grow.
And we'll see you for round 2, folks. Good night, everybody, and go Panthers.